What's up, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to the channel where we break down all things black and gold. Our team is firing on all cylinders, improving each week as they chase that ultimate goal, bringing another Lombardi trophy back to the Steel City. Before we dive into this historic Week 15 matchup against the Eagles, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Steelers news, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Steelers Nation, let's set the stage. The Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at 10-3, coming off a hard-fought victory against the Cleveland Browns. This team has exceeded all expectations this season, led by the steady hand of head coach Mike Tomlin and the veteran presence of quarterback Russell Wilson. But now, the stakes are higher than ever. We're heading to Philadelphia, a city where we haven't won a game since 1965. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly 60 years of heartbreak in the city of brotherly love. The Eagles are flying high at 11-2, riding a 9-game winning streak and looking every bit like a Super Bowl contender. Let's talk about why this matchup is such a monumental task. The Eagles are stacked. Their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is a dual-threat superstar who can beat you with his arm and his legs. Last week, Hurts threw for 2 touchdowns in a win over Carolina, and their ground game is anchored by Saquon Barkley, who leads the NFL with 1,623 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns this season. For Pittsburgh, the road ahead isn't just tough, it's grueling. Over the next 11 days, the Steelers will face 3 of the league's best teams: the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. It's a brutal stretch that will test every ounce of this team's resolve. During his weekly press conference, Coach Mike Tomlin laid out the mindset going into this critical matchup. One thing's clear, he's not fazed by the challenge. "We respect their talent, no question," Tomlin said. "But we're focused on what we can control. It's about preparation, execution, and playing our brand of football. The past doesn't dictate the present." Tomlin also provided updates on key injuries, most notably George Pickens, who missed last week's game with a hamstring issue. While his status remains uncertain, Tomlin emphasized the importance of stepping up as a team, a mentality that paid off against Cleveland, where players like Scotty Miller and Van Jefferson delivered in big moments. Now, let's talk about the man under center, Russell Wilson. Since joining the Steelers, Wilson has been nothing short of spectacular, leading the team to a 10-1 record in his starts. But here's the kicker: Wilson has a perfect 5-0 career record against the Eagles. After last week's win over the Browns, Wilson spoke with Tracy Wolfson about the mindset heading into this brutal stretch of games. "The best thing is our practices feel like games every day," Wilson said. "That's an advantage to us. It's a tribute to Coach Tomlin and how we go about our business. We'll be prepared." Wilson's leadership has been a game-changer for this team. Whether it's his composure in tight moments or his ability to rally the locker room, he's brought a championship mentality to Pittsburgh. Here's the big question: can the Steelers finally end their losing streak in Philadelphia? It's not going to be easy. The Eagles have one of the league's most hostile home environments, and their defense is relentless, led by stars like Haason Reddick and Darius Slay. But if there's one thing we've learned about this Steelers team, it's that they thrive on defying expectations. This isn't the same squad that struggled to find an offensive rhythm early in the season. The chemistry between Wilson and his playmakers, combined with a defense that forces turnovers, makes Pittsburgh a legitimate threat in any game. So, how can the Steelers pull off the upset? 1. Stop Saquon Barkley. The defense has to contain the NFL's leading rusher. Look for rising star Keanu Benton, who recorded his first career interception last week, to play a pivotal role in disrupting Philly's ground game. 2. Win the turnover battle. Pittsburgh's defense has been opportunistic all season, forcing 3 turnovers against Cleveland. If they can pressure Hurts into making mistakes, it'll swing the momentum. 3. Russell Wilson's magic. Wilson doesn't need to light up the stat sheet. He just needs to manage the game, make smart decisions, and capitalize on scoring opportunities. His ability to stay cool under pressure will be crucial. Steelers Nation, this game feels like a turning point. A win in Philadelphia wouldn't just end a 60-year drought, it would solidify Pittsburgh as a true Super Bowl contender. And with the playoffs looming, momentum is everything. After the Eagles, the road doesn't get any easier. The Ravens and Chiefs await in a stretch of games that could define the season. But as Wilson said, this team isn't looking too far ahead. They're focused on the task at hand, one game at a time. Alright, Steelers Nation, let's talk about the elephant in the room, George Pickens and his availability for this week's game. Head coach Mike Tomlin gave us an update in his Tuesday press conference, and here's what we know. Pickens, who leads the team with 55 receptions, 850 yards, and 3 touchdowns, missed last week's win against the Browns due to a hamstring injury. Initially, the team thought he might be able to play, albeit in a limited role focused on passing situations. But when game day arrived, it became clear that his condition was more serious than anticipated. When we got to the stadium, it was evident that maybe the circumstance was maybe a little more significant than we had hoped. So, we made the prudent decision in terms of shutting him down and not allowing a small problem to become a bigger one. After the game, an MRI confirmed the team's fears. The injury was more significant than first believed. While there's a sliver of hope that Pickens might suit up this week, Tomlin was realistic. If you press me, I'd probably say he's out or could be characterized as doubtful as we sit here. Losing Pickens for another week would be a big blow to the Steelers' offense, especially as they prepare to face the 11-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Pickens has been a cornerstone of Pittsburgh's passing game, offering quarterback Russell Wilson a reliable and explosive target downfield. Without him, the Steelers will once again rely on a next-man-up mentality. Last week, we saw players like Scotty Miller, Van Jefferson, and even tight end Pat Freiermuth step up in big moments. The question now is whether they can replicate that performance against one of the toughest defenses in the league. One thing Steelers fans can always count on is Mike Tomlin's steady hand in moments like this. He made it clear that the team's primary focus is on getting Pickens healthy for the long haul. We're just in the mindset now of getting him healthy as quickly as we possibly can, Tomlin said. We'll go through normal procedure, let participation be our guide in terms of availability, and then obviously the quality of that participation. Translation: the Steelers aren't going to rush Pickens back and risk turning a minor injury into something that sidelines him for the rest of the season, or worse, the playoffs. Now, let's talk about the task at hand, the Philadelphia Eagles. This team is stacked, from their dual-threat quarterback Jalen Hurts to their league-leading rusher Saquon Barkley, who has already racked up over 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns this season. Their defense isn't any easier to handle, boasting playmakers like Haason Reddick and Darius Slay. Add to that the fact that the Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965, and it's clear this is going to be a battle. If Pickens is out, it puts even more pressure on Wilson and the rest of the offense to find creative ways to move the ball. Look for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren to play pivotal roles in the run game, while Deontay Johnson and the rest of the receiving corps will need to step up in Pickens' absence. But it's not all doom and gloom, Steelers Nation. This team has shown incredible resilience all season long. Last week's win over the Browns is a perfect example. Despite missing key players like Pickens, the team found a way to win, thanks to strong performances from both the offense and defense. Quarterback Russell Wilson continues to bring a championship mindset to Pittsburgh, and his leadership has been invaluable. After last week's win, he had this to say: "The best thing is our practices feel like games every day. That's an advantage to us. It's a tribute to Coach Tomlin and how we go about our business. So we'll be prepared." With Wilson at the helm and Tomlin on the sidelines, there's a reason to believe the Steelers can defy the odds once again. If there's even a slim chance that Pickens can suit up on Sunday, it could change the dynamic of the game. His ability to stretch the field and make contested catches could open up opportunities for the rest of the offense. But even if he does play, Tomlin made it clear that his participation will be heavily monitored. The last thing the Steelers want is to risk aggravating the injury, especially with the playoffs looming. Alright, Steelers family, now it's your time to weigh in. Can we finally break the curse in Philadelphia? What do you think will be the keys to victory, and how confident are you in this team's chances during this brutal 3-game stretch? Also, let's talk about Russell Wilson. With his undefeated record against the Eagles, do you think he's the X-factor in this matchup? And what are your predictions for the final score? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you all think. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you the best Steelers content all season long, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. That's it for today, Steelers Nation. Keep waving those terrible towels, stay loud, and let's get ready to shock the world in Week 15. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.